Hello, Timber Rattlers fans. It's time for our Arizona check-in with Timber Rattlers manager Matt Erickson. This is episode 5, and Matt is back down in Arizona. He's brought with him former Timber Rattlers clubhouse manager and now the clubhouse manager down in Arizona, Travis Voss. We'll talk with Matt about what's going on down there now that the minor leaguers have had their first full camp. We'll chat with Travis about some stuff as well. That's coming up right now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of our Arizona Check-In with Timber Rattlers manager Matt Erickson. Matt is back in Arizona after a couple of weeks in Wisconsin, and he is at the American Family Fields of Phoenix training site with a special guest. I want to welcome Matt Erickson, and I want to welcome Travis Voss to this week's episode. Hello, gentlemen. How are you doing?
Doing good. How you doing, Chris?
Well, I'm doing well, getting ready for some baseball up here with the alternate training site, and you guys are finally getting going. And Matty, you probably brought the most important person that you're dealing with down in Arizona on the show today.
No question about it. He runs the facility. Travis is our clubhouse manager here in the minor leagues. And yeah, it doesn't run efficiently without Travis and his staff.
Travis, I want to ask you, how have you been dealing with all of the challenges over the last 18 months or so in getting ready for this spring training for the minors and everything else that was going on?
Sure. So I got a little taste of what we were going to expect last summer. I got to come up to Appleton for the alternate training camp last year, which was a great experience, having worked in Appleton for 4 summers from 2012 through 15 as the clubhouse manager those years. So it was great to come back up and see everyone again and just get a feel for what to kind of expect with all the COVID stuff, with spacing guys out and just kind of a different routine, which has been kind of refreshing in a way. We also got a little taste of what to expect here in Arizona. After Appleton last summer, we had a 6-month fall instructional league here in Arizona. So we kind of, thankfully we have 200 player lockers here. So we're really able to spread guys out a lot. And we also have access to the major league clubhouse this year since big league camp is done. So we're able to put some of the AA and high A players over there just to spread everybody out even more. So it's actually been kind of fun and refreshing, just something a little bit out of the ordinary and different from previous spring trainings.
Yeah, I think this is the 3rd year since the remodel down at the American Family Fields of Phoenix complex, but really there's only been 1 year that you've had the major league and the minor league guys all in the same building at the same time.
Yeah, 2019 it's been an interesting journey with American Family Fields of Phoenix. 2019, it was kind of crazy, coming in here and stuff was still being finished as we moved in, and you're trying to learn a new building and a new routine. And then you finally get settled in with that. And then we thought last year would be a normal year, but then things kind of went crazy before we could really even truly get minor league camp fully off the ground and running. And now this year is, again, just something new and different. So we haven't had a normal year, so to speak, yet, but keeps you fresh and on your toes for sure.
Matty, are you back into the swing of things down in Arizona right now?
Yeah, we had our first full squad workout yesterday. We even broke up into our team groups, so to speak. There will be some guys moving from group to group, but we kind of got a core group to work with. We were able to do some team fundamental stuff, some pitching, fielding practice with our infielders, work on a little bit of communication. We'll do that again today and tomorrow. And then our AA team starts games on Wednesday. And then all of our work groups, all of our affiliated teams will start games on Thursday.
Yeah, is it just like a typical spring training, or are you going to be going over and playing the Mariners and Padres guys over in Peoria, or heading over to Surprise for the Royals and Rangers and all of that? It's just going to be just like a regular spring training, just a little bit later in the spring, right?
It really is. It's got a traditional spring training feel to it. Once you get in the building and go through the intake, and Travis mentioned we have complete use of the facility, so people are spread out. But once we get through the beginning of the day, once we get onto the fields with our work groups, it feels very much like what spring training felt like for years. Back to seeing faces, back to communicating with people face to face, and not just through Zoom calls or over the phone. We have beautiful weather out here right now, so it's I got an itch scratched, I guess, last month when I was able to go to big league camp. But it got me even more excited for minor league camp. And this completion of this minor league camp, it'll go quick. We only got a couple weeks, and then we'll jump right into the season here beginning of May.
Travis, we hear a lot about how Matty's day usually goes down in Arizona. What's the life like for the clubhouse guy during spring training down in Arizona right now?
Sure. So in a normal year, the clubhouse guys will get here about 6 a.m, so much earlier. So it's been nice to get a little extra rest. So we actually intake pretty much the same time as the coaches now. It's been 7:30 or 7 or 7:30 most mornings. So we kind of intake roughly about an hour before the players get here. So you're able to kind of, catch up on some stuff before the players get here. It's not actually been too bad. Like Matt said, they've kind of broken up the guys reporting each day, which helps kind of lighten the load a little in the morning and afternoon. Yesterday being our first full squad workout on field was a little bit different. So all the laundry did come at once. But, like usual, I'm able to bring down some of the affiliate clubhouse managers to help work, with me in Arizona, as well as some local people. So it's just a slight adjustment to a slightly new routine, but it's still pretty standard. It's a little different than previous years, but still pretty standard operation for us.
Yeah, the laundry.
It's amazing the workload and the hours logged for our clubhouse managers. It's something that's not often talked about. And I know our field staff spends a lot of time at the ballpark, but there isn't a day that I get to the ballpark where Mason or when Travis was there, Travis isn't already there at the ballpark working or preparing for the day. And then when I leave, usually I'm the last person to leave in uniform, and the clubhouse managers are still there, obviously working and finishing up the laundry and prepping for the next day. So the hours logged, you're really married to the complex and to the facility.
Yeah,
lots of time.
The laundry never stops, does it, Travis?
The towels and the loops that the players turn in are the gift that keeps giving daily.
What's the? I'll throw this out to both of you. What's the mood of the players down there right now? They happy to be there, or are they just ready to get going, or as Matt says, chomping at the bit?
Yeah, they yesterday, from a personal standpoint, I was excited to get to see everybody together. Pitchers. We had some position players here earlier for early camp, but now getting a chance to have all the position players, all the pitchers here on site was really it's really special, because obviously a lot of things have happened in the last year to make this possible, and we've tried some things and we've made adjustments, and I think the Brewers collectively have done a tremendous job, from the medical people to our clubhouse personnel to our players and coaches, all working together to make this efficient workspace. And as I mentioned a little while ago, now there's some normalcy, and it feels like a true spring training once we get out on the field.
I would echo Matt's sentiments too, just, from my perspective and just talking to some of the players, they've enjoyed this new routine. And even during big league camp, just hearing guys say, man, it's kind of nice showing up a little later and guys are still getting the necessary work in to prepare for games and whatnot. And like I said earlier, just too, with guys being able to spread their lockers out a little more, not being crammed in there like sardines, that kind of helps as well. And it's, also like Matt alluded to, it's kind of cool to see some of the faces that honestly I haven't seen maybe since mid to late 2019. So it's always cool to see those guys again and just hear what they've been up to in their lives, with the unique year last year, not being able to really play. And some guys, still were able to practice. Some guys, were working and finding new hobbies. So it's been interesting catching up with guys.
Matt, last week we talked about Orlando Arcia and his walk-off hit, and then a couple of days later he gets traded to the Braves. So we'll kind of avoid talking about individual players this week. But just, you had Orlando, and Travis, you dealt with him when he was here with the Timber Rattlers. Matt, we'll start with you. What do you remember about him in his time here in Wisconsin and moving up through the big leagues and now moving on to the Braves?
Yeah, no more talking about players. It's a kiss of death. No, Arcia was, what I took away from him was just the absolute pleasure that he played with. Like, he truly enjoys the game of baseball, and it shows up on his face. It shows up in his body language. Even when things aren't going so well, he still loved to compete, never scared. And I think Brewer fans got to see that, especially in the postseason in the last few years. The bigger the situation, the brighter he shined. And that's kind of how we tried to, from a player development standpoint, we tried to challenge him as much as possible. It would almost get boring for him, the routine of it. So we were constantly looking for ways to challenge him, whether it was verbally or whether it was a particular session of defense or offense. We're always trying to put him in situations to challenge him physically and mentally, and he's always respond to it in a positive manner. So I'll miss his competitiveness. Obviously, it was great to have him, watch him grow up and have some good Brewer moments, but wish him the best, obviously, as he moves on to Atlanta.
Yeah, and Travis, you get to see him grow too from his time here, and then when you're down there dealing with him during spring training and everything. What are your memories?
Sure. So I remember hearing his name from our field coordinator, Charlie Green, even a year or two before he got to Appleton. And I remember he had broken his ankle, I believe, here in Arizona. And, Charlie was really bummed out. Like, man, this kid Orlando Arcia just broke his ankle. He's out for the year. And I had never even heard about him till that moment. And then I remembered that statement once he got to Appleton, and, he started to get more attention there. And like Matt said, he was always just very upbeat and very jovial and lighthearted. And I think that's how it should be. It can be easy to slip into the doldrums of the day-to-day routine, but just one of those people you kind of, puts a smile on your face walking by a guy with his type energy. And it's always cool for me just to see guys that I had in Appleton get up to the big leagues. And I got to work big league camp this year, and, he's obviously grown up a little, just in terms of his age, and he's gotten a little bit more outgoing, just interacting with other players, and just to see his English improve a little as well has been really cool. So yeah, you will miss a guy like that with his energy and just always a big smile on his face.
Last topic that I have for you guys, Brewers took 4 out of 6 in the series in Chicago and St. Louis. Nice showing by the offense, and the pitching is really good. Have either of you had a chance to follow it that much? I know they're probably going on while you're either on the field or whatever, but what are your thoughts on that first road trip of the year?
The power of technology. We carry our phones out on the field now in our back pocket, which is, I'm still trying to get used to, but all of our schedules are digital now. So we have it on our phones as we're trying to navigate through the day. But if you have your phone in your back pocket, you also have some apps available to you. So the MLB app and the Brewer games are right there ready to be listened to while you're shagging BP. So yeah, I have been able to listen to quite a few of the games while shagging batting practice. And it was nice to see the bats come alive. Obviously, the pitching staff has been outstanding. I don't think it can get better. I hope it maintains and can get better, but it was great to see the bats come alive in the last 2 days and have some big innings. Yeah, we clean up the defense and get some runs on the board. That pitching stays right where it is. It's reason to be excited.
Yeah, I got a TV in my office, so when I'm working on minor league stuff, or like Matt said, I'll have the MLB app going on my phone or on my laptop as I'm doing stuff around the complex. So I don't watch every single inning necessarily, but especially getting to work my first big league camp this year, it's a little bit more of like a special bond to me with this particular group. So it's been cool to see them rebound after a couple of tough losses, and it's sometimes it's easy to overreact right away. You lose a couple and think the world's ending, but they rebounded, and it just reminds you that it's a really long season, and you just have to ride the ebbs and the flows of the ups and downs. But it's been very encouraging, and especially too, just guys that I've had here in Arizona or guys I had in Appleton, like Devin Williams, he was there my last year in 2015, I think it was. And just to see guys that you've kind of cultivated in the minors be up in the big leagues gives you extra excitement and incentive to watch the games.
All right. Well, Travis Voss, thank you for joining us. And Matt Erickson, thanks for bringing him in. It's good to see some familiar faces.
My pleasure.
Maddie and Travis, you both have a great week, and Matt, we'll talk to you again next week, all right?
Sounds great.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, and good luck the rest of camp. Can't wait to get Maddie back up here and start playing some Timber Rattlers baseball. Until next time, Timber Rattlers fans, we'll see you at the ballpark. That will do it for this week's episode of the Arizona Check-In with Timber Rattlers manager Matt Erickson. We want to thank Matt for being on the show and for bringing along Travis Voss. Some great stuff from those two down in American Family Fields of Phoenix. Timber Rattlers baseball is not that far away. Opening day is coming up on May 4th against the Beloit Snappers. Tickets are available for the opening homestand. And if you had enjoyed this series of videos, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the Timber Rattlers YouTube channel. Until next time, Timber Rattlers fans, we'll see you at the park.